Can you believe that the Koopalings have been around since 1988 with their original debut on Super Mario Bros. 3 for the NES? And since then, they've kind of been a mainstay in classic and even modern 2D Marios, not to mention spin-offs like Paper Mario and even the Mario and Luigi series. With all these recent inclusions, where are the Koopalings within 3D Mario? Because they seem to have missed every single 3D Mario game to date. That includes Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, all the Mario Galaxies, Mario 3D Land, 3D World, and even Super Mario Odyssey and Bowser's Fury. As far as Mario Odyssey goes, it seems like the Koopalings were actually replaced by 4 brand new rabbit creatures called the Broodals who worked for Bowser, which essentially kind of worked the same way that the Koopalings would, but in 3D. And it got me thinking, what would the Koopalings actually look like and how would they work in a 3D environment? Now let me get this straight, I'm not just sticking the Koopalings into a small battle ring and having them fight Mario in a very basic way. I'm gonna give them each a very big battle based on each world that they come from, meaning they are the main boss from each world on the map. Overall, I'm going to take all their 2D and RPG spin-off experiences and put them together to make a unique 3D boss fight. First, I want to thank today's sponsor, Ugreen. Ugreen was kind enough to send me tons of their brand new high-powered portable wall chargers. I'm here to talk to you about the Nin10doland Pro 65-watt mini wall charger. This small compact wall charger can provide a fast charge of 65 watts of charging power with a single port, not to mention it has 3 ports, 2 USB-Cs and a USB-A. In just 30 minutes, it can charge a MacBook Air M2 from 0 to 51%. The latest AirPyra tech combined with the latest GA Infinity chips give this charger a smaller size, fitting literally in the palm of your hand without losing or substituting any power. Like I previously stated, with 2 USB-C ports and a USB-A port provided, you can charge up to 3 devices at once. As you can see, I'm charging a MacBook Pro, my iPad, and a Nintendo Switch all at the same time, and it's charging them pretty quick. The Nin10doland Pro charger also has 45 watts of Samsung Super Fast Charging 2.0 for you Android users out there. And in comparison to other chargers, it packs just as much power if not more and is a lot smaller, especially when you look at the MacBook Pro charger and even the brand new iPad chargers that come straight out of the box. They're just too hefty compared to something like Ugreen's. One of the most difficult things for me is trying to find different charger bricks in order to charge different things all at different outlets. It's just too many cords, too many bricks, and too many things going on all around the house. And I love this thing because being able to charge everything in one place makes things so much easier. If you want to get your hands on the Ugreen Nin10doland Pro 65-watt mini wall charger, all you have to do is click on the link in the description. You can find the Nin10doland Pro and tons of their other devices on their official website by just clicking on the links down below. And once again, big thanks to Ugreen for sponsoring today's video and sending over these awesome wall chargers. Okay, first things first is what kind of Mario game is this that Mario's battling them in? Well, this is not a specific Mario game because we can't really pull from a specific past game because there's lots of movesets that are very specific to that game only. For instance, this will not be involving Flood from Sunshine or even the Spin from Galaxy or even the capture mechanic from Super Mario Odyssey, but overall Mario's base moveset from all of those games. Mario can still flip and pick things up and jump real high and double jump, triple jump, all that stuff, maybe even dive and roll, but yeah, it's just straight up Mario moveset. That's how we gotta base it here, because we have no clue what the next 3D Mario game is even gonna do. Let's get to the battle themselves. There's a lot of things that we can pull from the Koopalings, and a lot of them have different items or different mechanics that they utilize in not only the 2D Mario games, but also the RPG spin-offs, except for Larry. Larry literally has nothing but like a train. Now let's start with Iggy. Iggy is known to have a chain chomp with him in most of his boss battles, where he's either in some type of moving platform or even a chariot in Paper Mario Color Splash. He's being drug around by these giant chain chomps. He's pretty much the OG Madame Brutal. But what if he had some type of giant chariot again, or some type of moving vehicle with wheels, where he's using 2 giant chain chomps to drive him around, and maybe they're chasing after Mario, and Mario has to lead them to run into a wall or something in order to knock Iggy off of the cart, and now you have to chase him down in order to hit him. He'll run away from you and also use his wand to shoot beams at you until you can hit him in the head. There won't be no cycle where you hit him and then he goes into a shell and spins around and stuff. He'll go back into the chariot, repeating that phase like 3 or 4 times. I also kind of seen this like the Wiggler boss battle from Super Mario Sunshine, where you had to make these giant sandcastles appear in order to knock him over, allowing you to ground pound on his underbelly. And it'd be something like this, knocking over the chain chomps, allowing you to then go attack Iggy. Next up we have Lemmy, the young one of the Koopalings that uses bouncy balls in order to play around. I could see him maybe transforming the area into like a child's playroom and he's just throwing different toys at you, but once again using his bouncy balls. In a 3D space, he'll be on the top of a giant bouncy ball where you actually have to bounce off the little and the medium ones in order to reach him, which means it's kind of like the Histocrat battle from Super Mario 3D World, where you have to jump off the little snakes in order to jump onto the big one. But maybe there's some type of barrier around Lemmy, so you can't just jump on him. You have to pick up one of the small bouncy balls and bounce off of the other ones and then throw it at Lemmy in order to knock him off of his giant bouncy ball, which will then send him to the ground where you have to battle him by chasing him, and he'll also shoot beams at you in the same way with his wand. I don't know, I feel like platforming off of bouncy balls in a 3D Mario would not only be a little challenging, but also a lot of fun. Next up we have Wendy, which normally utilizes her rings as hoops as she tries to make the bros jump through them like in Mario and Luigi. For instance, in the Superstar Saga, there was a lot of situations where you had to either jump or not jump or know where to move or jump at the right time in order to dodge her hoop attacks. And they could do something like this in a 3D environment, where she's maybe just chucking rings at you all over the arena, kind of like the Lord of Lightning with his rings of electricity moving around the stage, and eventually maybe keeping you in a confined tube or tunnel full of rings where she's throwing specific rings at you where you have to either duck, jump, or dodge out the way for a quick second, and you only have like a quick second to do each. I think that would be pretty cool until eventually she gets tired and allows you to go up and hit her. Or maybe she gets a hoop to actually confine Mario's arms and legs together where he can't move at all besides duck or jump, making you kind of have to really pay attention to what's going on and pass through each phase. Or maybe you have to hop around like Spring Mario as your arms and legs are tied together and you have to bounce around the arena in order to go hit her. Next up we have Roy, and Roy will use his bullet bill launcher in a 3D setting. I can see him standing on a really high, super tall tower, kind of like the Undergrunt Gunner from Super Mario Galaxy, where he's able to fire tons of different types of bullet bills and even bomb bombs at you from the top of the tower. And you have to make your way up the top, whether it's some type of platforming challenge or using the bullet bills in order to get up there. He'll shoot regular bullet bills, seeker bills, even bonsai bills, and also bob-bombs at you. There's also some new types of bullet bills from Super Mario Bros. Wonder, such as that dragon bullet bill and even the missile Megs that he could actually use in this game, which would be really, really cool. Then even maybe towards the end of the fight, he can shoot a giant king bill at you, like the cannon on his arm like grows super big or something, who knows. But once you get to the top, he will shoot a barrage at you all around in a circle, and you have to dodge all of them in order to get to the middle of the circle and hit him in the head. And once you get to the top of the tower and hit him, it'll knock you all the way back down and grow the tower again 2 more times. Once again, my whole plan is to extend these Koopaling boss battles to make them a lot bigger than what they normally are, instead of just running around, jumping on their head and moving on. Yeah, it's going to take a lot of work to continue to fight these guys, even if you do have to hit them 3 times. Next up, we have Ludwig, and I always see Ludwig as like this mad evil scientist, maybe creating contraptions, and I think that's where they should go with him, where maybe he has a giant mech, maybe a robotic version of him that actually has a giant wand and is like destroying the terrain and everything. Maybe you have to find ways to break it down piece by piece, kind of like the Mecha Brutal, or maybe just like the Mecha Brutal, you have to make your way to the top somehow, or maybe even like Mega Leg from Super Mario Galaxy, where you have to climb it and scale all the way to the top where Ludwig is at the top waiting for you, and then you get to battle him once you get up there, and you have to keep rinse and repeating. That would be something really interesting, but I still like the idea of making him like the smart evil scientist one, and having him construct some type of giant mech of himself would be really cool to fight in a 3D Mario game. Shoot, maybe he makes like a giant Robo Bowser again, like from Super Mario Sunshine, or giant Robo Mario to combat Mario, who knows. Next up we have Morton, the ugly one. No, okay, I'm going to be nice to Morton for this video, because he has a giant hammer that would be really cool to utilize in a 3D Mario game. Imagine it just being super massive, like even bigger than him or the area that he's in. Like, it's just a massive hammer, and he's able to hit different things at Mario, like different enemies that have different properties when they're coming at him, like the pokey spiked balls like he did in New Super Mario Bros. U, but also Goombas that would bounce off the ground in weird ways, or spikies that would hit you, all kind of crazy things that he could do with his hammer, and maybe jump up in the air and then slam his hammer on the ground in different parts of the map that will shake the ground if Mario's still on the ground, and also cause a giant shockwave to cover the floor, very similar to Bowser's Rampage part in Super Mario Odyssey when he's jumping around the stage causing shockwaves to appear. That could be something really unique, meaning that you have to not only jump over the hammer when it hits the ground, but also jump over the shockwaves that it leaves behind as well, and eventually his hammer will get stuck in the ground. He'll try to pull it out, allowing you to run in for your attack. And finally, last but not least, we have Larry. Larry is a difficult one because he really doesn't have any unique property in any of these Super Mario Brothers games or any of these spin-off games as well. He's just there with his wand, and I really wish they gave him some type of thing to kind of make him stand out, but they really didn't. The biggest thing that we've got probably in Paper Mario Color Splash is that he rides on top of a train. So I don't know, maybe he's like the vehicle guy where maybe you can actually have a race against him. Imagine a 3D Mario game where you jump into a cart, kind of Mario Kart style, and have to race him or race to track him down, and you knock all the different minions off the track and stuff, and the Goombas that are racing and the Koopa Troopas, and you have to go ram into his cart all F-Zero style and knock him off the track, where he'll then fling out of the cart, and then you can jump out of the cart in order to battle him, and then after you hit him, he jumps back into the cart for round 2, and he does this 3 times. I think that would be super cool and a lot of fun, giving it kind of a Mario Kart feel. Or maybe it's not even necessarily a race, but they're all on like this preset path where they're driving around a little open world area, and you actually have to track them down and hit them with items, kind of like battle mode style from Mario Kart. Or shoot, I don't know, maybe he's just like the wand guy, where they give him like 5 or 6 wands that do crazy different things and like change his appearance and stuff, like they did with Bowser Jr. from Super Mario Bros. Wonder. They could do something like that where he's like warping the terrain and changing things with all his different wands that all have different properties. I guess technically this would be like him taking Kamek's role though, so probably just stick to the cart thing. That's all 7 Koopalings and what they could possibly do in a 3D Mario game. I'm very excited to see them return, and I think a lot of us gave them a hard time just because they appeared in lots of the new Super Mario Bros. Games. If done right, these characters can actually be some powerhouse of boss battles for the Mario series if they just handled them in bigger and better ways. And I really think the next 3D Mario game, even if it's open world, could do some really fun things with the Koopalings. But let me know down below what you would like to see a Koopaling boss battle look like in a 3D Mario game. Do you agree or disagree with my picks? And make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out. A lot of you guys that are watching this video right now are not yet subscribed. So let's see how many people we can get to subscribe from this one video. Stop what you're doing, it'll only take a second. Thank you so much for tuning in, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya guys.